I've been an Etsy seller for almost 5 years now, and I know that's what a lot of my content is created around, but today we're actually going to be talking about Shopify, and I'm going to tell you a bunch of different things that I feel you need to know before moving off of your Etsy shop over to Shopify. Now, this is something that I actually did pretty early on for one of my Etsy shops that did very, very well in my first year. And I wish that I had done a little bit more research, because not only have I been successful on both platforms of what I deem is successful on both platforms, there's a lot that goes into Shopify that you may not be aware of, and a lot of myths as well that people often will say that actually aren't that true. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Mac. I post videos talking about e-commerce, passive income, and different ways to make money online, and I would love to have you as a part of our community here on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed and let me know if you like this video by leaving a like, a comment, and if you want to be notified when I post a new video, which is weekly, sometimes twice a week, you can go ahead and hit the notification bell as well. So the main thing to know in all of this is understanding Shopify as a platform and what exactly it is. If you're not familiar with Shopify, it's not the same as Etsy. Etsy is what's called an e-commerce marketplace, and this has two sides. There's an active buyer and an active seller, meaning that people are actively coming to Etsy with the intent to make a purchase and can buy from multiple sellers. When it comes to Shopify, Shopify is a website host. It is a host in which you can go on there and create your website and start selling using the Shopify platform. Basically, it's all the coding, and that's done in templates, SEO, all of that, for you to start and run your business from there. Now, the main difference with a website versus a marketplace is your website, you're gonna be responsible for driving all of that traffic that a marketplace already has. And that's a big benefit to selling on a marketplace, especially if you're new, because marketplaces like Amazon, Etsy, Temu, TikTok Shop, there's active buyers that are ready to purchase and are on there with an intent or just to scroll and look for products. So it's different because with your website, you're gonna be responsible to getting that organic traffic that you're not paying for to your website. And I think that's a big thing, is a lot of people will just create a Shopify store and they wanna start selling, and they don't realize that. They don't realize that to get traffic, it's gonna take a marketing strategy, an SEO strategy, and so much more in order to get that organic traffic. It's not gonna just magically appear. And that's a big thing that I've noticed since I started creating content, is how many people will create their store and then instantly expect people to just find their store and get sales. And then they're like, why am I not getting sales? And it's because you need a marketing strategy to get people to your website. Now, it's okay if you weren't aware of this, because not many people are, and Shopify doesn't exactly tell everyone that, hey, you're not gonna be able to get traffic without having a strategy here. And this falls for any website host that you use, whether it's Wix, and there's so many that you can create and host a website on. And I am gonna talk about strategies to get people to your online store. We are gonna talk about that in just a moment, but I wanna first go over and knock out one of the biggest myths about Shopify, and the one that kind of frustrates me, because I think a lot of people just assume I have to pay for Shopify. Shopify is expensive. And actually, it's not that bad. So a few things to keep in mind with Shopify is, because it's a website host and not an e-commerce platform, the fees are not going to be reoccurring as much as they would be with a platform like Etsy or Amazon. Now, because you're selling on a marketplace, you have to pay monthly fees or transactional fees that come with selling on a marketplace, right? But when you're selling on your own website, it's not necessarily like that. So with Shopify, how much it actually costs just to use the platform is $29 a month. Now, Shopify actually runs a lot of promotions too. It changes with the seasons and depending on the links that you may find around the internet, especially if you just go to their website and see what promotions are running. So one of the ones that's great is they will give you a free trial that's for a few days and enough time to set up your shop. And then it'll give you your first month for around $1. That's one that I recently used to open up a new store. And if you want that link, you can grab it in the description if it is still available. So if you do the math for it, it's actually not that month per year to run your store, and you can always pause or cancel your Shopify membership if you are not using it. So when it comes to selling on a platform like Etsy, where I don't want to make this video completely comparing them, but I want you to understand that with Etsy, you're paying a lot of fees. Now, there are some things that you will have to pay for with Shopify, of course. You know, if you want to do outsourced marketing, which is going to be ads to get more people to your website, if you have to pay for website design, or if you need help through a specialist like on Fiverr or something, SEO, or if you do want to get Shopify apps, which of course we are going to talk more about as well. But there's all things that you do have to consider, but that are in your control and regarding to your budget and how much you want to spend. So do I think Shopify is expensive? Honestly, I do not, especially because you can cancel it at any time. And so if you do need to take a pause, you do need to take a break, that option is there for you. And so you can pause that $29 a month. Now that can depend as well, as I said, if you do sign up with a link, sometimes it may not be able to cancel it. So always read to make sure that the link that you're signing up with, if it's asking you for a full payment, that you may not be able to do that, but just want to leave that as a disclaimer to make sure that you are aware when signing up. And if you're watching this, you may likely be coming off of Etsy or considering coming off of Etsy and even moving your products or your business to Shopify. And this is something I also want to note on, because a lot of people assume that this is very difficult, and it does not have to be. There's so many options now to be able to get your products from Etsy directly over to Shopify and even input your orders to see revenue and stuff like that. So don't let that deter you. I want to squash that as well. There are apps you can also import through a CSV, or if you're using a print-on-demand supplier like Printify, you can easily copy your products over from an Etsy store to a Shopify store. Now, while this can be a bit time consuming, I won't lie to you, it's not necessarily what I would say is difficult. You just have to put the time and energy into it, and it can be done. So there is lots of options. If I have any to link for you, I will leave them below. There is one that is very helpful when syncing everything from Shopify to Etsy, and we'll talk about that more when it comes to apps. But I do want you to know that if you're somebody that's considering it, to not let the difficult ability scare you, because it is absolutely doable. So now that we understand all that, I do want to talk to you about how you can get traffic to your Shopify store. And there's a few things that are very important when it comes to this and that are often overlooked. So usually with Shopify, when people start to build a website, the first thing that they think of is their branding, their logo, what products they want to sell on there. And while that is absolutely 100% valid and what you should do, the main thing that is overlooked is SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and this is a huge part of how people are going to find your store. SEO goes all across the board for Google, different social media platforms that you use, ads, things, everything that you are trying to get traffic to your website. SEO is the number one and most important thing, because you need to be reaching the right audience with relevant keywords. And I know that SEO can be a very, very daunting subject. I know a lot of people get very intimidated by it. Me as one of those people, I actually hated SEO when I first started. I remember the first time I actually watched a video on it, I had no idea what I know now. Like there's a lot of learning to be done, right? But you don't have to be super intimidated by it, because it actually is way easier than it ever used to be, due to all of the different resources that we have available and different apps and things that we can integrate to help us with our SEO. At the end of the day, data doesn't lie. And so if we know we're using keywords that are going to help us, that's what's most important. That's how we're going to get our audience in front of our products. So where do you need to use SEO? How do you use it on your website if you want to get traffic just organically? So let's talk about some strategies to get organic traffic through SEO. So where do you need to put your SEO on your website? Pretty much anywhere you can think of. On Shopify, it'll show you at the bottom right for your listings, when you're filling out descriptions and stuff and editing listings, what it'll look like in the Google SEO. So that's basically showing you where those keywords are going to place and what would show up on Google for search terms that you type in. And it is something that's a really good advantage to take note of. I know sometimes people don't see that, so definitely check that out when you're adding your description and your product titles. You can also generate different SEO traffic that is organic through creating things like blog posts or social media posts that are connected to your actual Shopify website. Now, I actually do have an app that I want to share with you if you are someone that is interested in really taking advantage of SEO for your Shopify store, and a great way to create those blog posts that I was just mentioning. So the app is called Boardroom, and what you can do is have it give you keywords that are ranking high for your product or your business, and you can generate AI blog posts in just a few seconds that will help drive organic traffic to your Shopify store. So on Boardroom, as I was saying, you can use AI to create blog posts and do other things through the app as well. So you can create a blog post, create product description, and even emails using the AI. And I'm going to show you real quick how we can make a blog post, because it is fairly easy. So over on the left-hand side, I'm going to select keyword research, and then I can go through a bunch of keywords for my niche or that are relevant with my store. So for this store, it's doing skiing and snowboarding. So if I typed typed the word snowboard and hit generate, it'll pop up and show me all the analytics for that keyword that I typed in. And this is really helpful because not only can you use that for your AI, but you can also use that in different aspects of your business as well. It's showing me the different keywords, the monthly search volume for them, the cost per click if I do want to advertise, ad competition, and the SEO rank. So I'm noticing with snowboard tricks, I'm going to favorite that because that seems to be a good keyword. The search volume's pretty good, and it's showing me that there is a pretty good rank on the SEO. So I can go to create the blog post, and over on the right, I would just type in everything that I want to add about that, and then it will make it with AI in just a few seconds. So it takes about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I have a blog post created for me that I can start editing myself. And this is really great because it's going to give me a lot of information. I can even edit it on my own in the editor here. So if I want to add in photos, even more keywords, or just customize it myself by changing in some different fonts or headings to make it match my brand better. And on the right, it will give you an SEO score too. So that helps you know if your blog is going to convert like that. I recommend you do what's called a meta description as well. This is going to help you with SEO on your business. And you have it just written with you with AI with the button here. Hit refresh and you'll already see that our SEO score will go up. So now we have a high SEO score, so we can save and publish this and it will help bring traffic to our website. I also recommend adding your products available in the blog post so that if someone does come across it, they can go ahead and find your products. So if I type in snowboard and I want to add that on the blog post, you can see here that someone can instantly purchase it directly from there. And once you have all your blog posts ready, you can either schedule them out or you can just publish them right away and it can all be accessed from here. You can do a very similar thing as well by creating product descriptions. So I do recommend checking this out. So if you are interested in checking out Boardroom, it will be linked in the description box below for you. It does start around $19 a month, but keep in mind that it actually is a pretty good price because trust me, I've paid upwards $3,000 for SEO tools. So you don't want to be doing that. And it is a AI tool as well. And it uses blog posts. So it's a bit of a different approach. So if you do want to check that out, as I said, it will be linked in the description box for you. Along with SEO, as I mentioned, being one of the top things for your own website, the next is of course going to be that branding. So branding basically is what identifies your brand as a whole. And when we're creating a website, it's important to have noticeable branding that flows, that has an aesthetic, that's gonna help you reach your target audience. And that's why I think niche marketing and niche stores perform so much well because you have who you are marketing to in your mind. If you're selling to a niche that you understand or that you can relate to or have done extensive research on, it helps so much with actually getting to who you want that target audience to be, and it's going to help your conversion rates for when you're marketing as well. Because if you drive someone to your website because of your product and your website sucks or looks nothing like what your product is, odds are you're not going to convert that customer or they're just going to click away. The attention span of our customers is low. There's so many different things that come through your mind before making a purchase. And so we want to not have that happen when a customer comes to our store. And so it's really important to have strong branding that not only is going to help you to stand out and help the longevity of your brand, but also to help people make a purchase when they come to your store. And if you're on Etsy already, chances are you have a brand logo, you have a brand banner, and probably colors and aesthetics that you use. And so you can just bring those right over to Shopify, resize your logo, resize your header, and you can use them in your store. I actually think it's an advantage to use a website host when we actually want to create more of a strong branding because we can control everything on the website versus just only being able to control one or two things that people see when they come to our shop. Because if you go to Etsy and you click on someone's shop, the only difference between them and yours besides the products is the branding that's being used in your listing photos and in your header or your logo. So on Shopify, we have way more of an advantage to be able to speak to our target audience. Your branding should also relate, as I was mentioning earlier, to that marketing strategy that we're going to mention in just a moment, but also to the photos that you are selling your products for and in. So if you're targeting teachers or maybe you're selling, teacher tote bags or something like that, and that's what's on your store, utilize that in your product images and in your marketing as well. You don't want to just lead people that are going to be teachers or looking for teacher gifts and showing them a product without showing them maybe a teacher holding the product or something with a mock-up that makes sense for that listing or product. A great example of this that I always love to use is if you're selling a mug, you better show what goes in that mug. I know we all know what goes in a mug, right? We all know that coffee, tea can go into a mug, hot water, but you better show that in at least one of your pictures on your website, because what that does is it gives the viewer a personal relation. And I know that sounds so silly, but it's so true. If you show someone pouring coffee into a mug, chances are that viewer is going to be like, oh, I'm going to pour my coffee into that mug in the morning. I know it sounds so like out of line, but trust me, I actually learned that from a training that I took. Very valuable information there is that showing the product in service or in an act of how you would use it is very, very helpful in all marketing strategies. I also want you to think as well, if you need help or inspiration for this, is different brands that are in your niche already and what they're doing to be recognizable and noticeable. It doesn't mean copy them, but it's just about taking inspiration from them. A great example of this actually is Vice, that suitcase website, right? It's like a suitcase brand. It's owned by Shay Mitchell, and they have a really, really clean, cool aesthetic on their website that's so simple and so easy for the viewer to understand not only what they're selling, but how to navigate it. I was actually looking to order a suitcase for my mom on this website, and I was just impressed with like how basic it is, because it's not complicated in how you would use the product. It shows it in multiple different ways, and their branding colors are in a line with their actual product, which I love, because the suitcase that I own, it's black, but even the handle color matches the branding on their website. So it's like things like that of these successful brands, like take note of things like that. So up next would be our marketing strategy, because marketing is huge with any brand. And again, something that can be extremely overwhelming, because if we're not just on a platform and we need to drive that traffic, we do indeed need a marketing strategy. Now, what a lot of people mainly do is once they open their business, they throw themselves at way too many things when it comes to marketing, or they jump automatically to paid ads. And I'm gonna tell you to do neither of those things. What I really would suggest you doing is to pick one platform to start marketing your business. And I want you to consider what your business aesthetic is and maybe what social media platform or search engine platform it would be most successful on. Now, if you're selling apparel, maybe Instagram is a better way to go, because you can share photos of your apparel and share more mock-ups and also videos, but you can share just more photos. It really depends on your brand. Now, if you are selling things that are extremely aesthetic, I would go with Pinterest first, because Pinterest is a search engine that people are using as a visual diary. So really just take in consideration, maybe do a little bit of research on your own for what platform would work the best for that. And once you figured that out, that is where you should create your marketing strategy for your website, and to start out with that one platform. You can always expand. It's kind of like the saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none. If you can use all of the platforms, but you don't have one that you're optimizing correctly in, you're not really doing yourself any favor. You're just spending all this time and you're not receiving the return back that you should. Master one platform and then move to the next. That's really a great strategy, because it's not only gonna help you with like burning out and being exhausted, because most likely you're on your own right now. So you need to save that energy, because trust me, I know how much of it goes into running these online businesses. It can be exhausting. And so if that is you, if you feel resonating with that, take one platform, master it. Then you can always utilize that content on other platforms as well. Now, I know that I did mention ads, and I think that ads are a great asset to invest in once your business is going. But personally, I know this is controversial. I'm not somebody that just throws ads to test products. I feel like I've had enough experience selling different products online that I kind of already know what the statistics are going to look like, if something's going to work or not. And even though it can be a more lengthy process versus throwing it and testing it with an ad and then coming back and being like, okay, that didn't work, it's just personally not what I love to do. I still do that sometimes, but odds are, as I keep saying, you're a beginner, and so you don't have that knowledge yet. And so what I would personally do is wait until you have your business more set up to start running ads. You don't need to run them right away. You can use the free traffic method of the social media platform or platforms that you decide to use and learn, and check your analytics that way to see what products are getting likes. Are they getting more views than others? Are you getting purchases on a specific item on your website? maybe that's the one that you should promote. But overall, ads really add up quickly. If you are gonna go right into ads though, please promise me that you're gonna do your research or outsource help to do it so that you really can optimize the money that you're spending, because it can take a lot of capital to actually reach a buying audience, and you don't wanna go into that blindly. Another advantage to Shopify that I don't want you to skip around is, of course, the apps. So if you're not familiar, there is an app store in Shopify in which you can download and utilize different apps to help you optimize, get more sales, and even do things like create reviews and get people to not abandon your cart. I will put some of the apps that I recommend in the description below for you to check out if you are interested, especially if you're coming from Etsy with print on demand, and they are helpful to use. But some examples here of apps that you can use are things, as I said, to create reviews. So you can create product reviews or even take reviews that people have put on Etsy and just implement them and create reviews on your website. Also different pop-ups or things to grab someone's email. This will help you a lot, because if you can gather someone's email and they do abandon their cart, you can retarget them. So using different apps to help you grab that email or that contact information in order to retarget them with a coupon or to get them to come back to your store. Very, very valuable. There's honestly a Shopify app for pretty much everything. And so that is a huge advantage of using Shopify because of that. It's just a great integration option to integrate pretty much anything that can be helpful to you, and something that I know Etsy technically does have apps, but it's nowhere near to the level that it is on Shopify. As I said, with the different things that you can take advantage of and use, you do want to make sure though that the apps you're using, as they can add up quickly. And I was mentioning in the beginning of the video with fees, it can add up quickly because you may not realize all the monthly things that you're paying with apps. So just keep that in mind. All right, so my overall thoughts about Shopify and being a seller on both platforms, I kind of want to just give my 2 cents in my opinion. And I know that with Etsy lately, especially when I'm filming this video, there is a lot going on and changing on the platform. And so I know that the urge to switch over to Shopify or even just start your Shopify store while still running your Etsy store is something that a lot of people are considering. And honestly, I highly recommend it. I do think that it's something that you should do, not only to protect what you have going on Etsy, but just as another way to sell to people and maybe transfer over in the future to essentially save money off of fees that you will be paying on an e-commerce marketplace, and just having more of a control of your brand so that you don't have to worry about random suspensions. You don't have to worry about all that stuff, right? And I'm not totally talking down on Etsy right now. I'm really not. I'm still an Etsy seller. I just made an updated video about that if you do want to check it out. I just want you to know that yes, when we're on an e-commerce platform or similar to social media, you can get banned at any time. And so it's harder to have a full control over your business. So if that's something you're considering, I would recommend looking into it. I'm glad that you watched this video. And I, of course, do have a link for you for Shopify below. It does have a great trial option. So if you do want to check that out, it is linked below, along with everything that I talked about in this video today, including Boardroom as well. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see more Shopify content, and I hope to see you in the next video.